Hi, how are y'all doing today? So today I'm going to be reading some of the stories that I've written on medium.com. And so I yesterday had finished reading, I think I read the one on Netflix. And so what I've been doing is like reading one or two of my stories and then just kind of talking about either the backstory or the events around the time that I wrote the stories, or just other things that caused me to have the idea for the story. Sometimes it was watching the news. Sometimes it was something that I'd seen on TV, or maybe another writer had posted a list of writing prompts, and that's always been a really good inspiration for me. Is when someone else gives a writing prompt, and especially if there's any kind of a time crunch or time pressure, if I have all of the time in the world to sit and come up with story ideas, it will take me literally forever. I will take all of that time just thinking of the stories that I want to write. But there are a couple of situations in which, if I'm in those particular situations, then I all of a sudden ideas just start coming out of the woodwork, just start occurring to me like crazy. And number one is when there's any kind of a time factor whatsoever. If somebody says, okay, um, you've got like 1 hour to come up with something, I work really good under that kind of pressure. And the other situation for coming up with story ideas is any time that I'm away from home and away from a pencil, an ink pen, or anything that I can write with. All of a sudden, I see things. Maybe I see things in a store. Maybe I see somebody that gives me a particular vibe, and ideas just pop into my head like, oh my goodness, what if that person were really a spy? What if, they're here on some nefarious mission or something? And it's at times like that that I have learned to pull out my voice recorder on my phone, because if I don't make a note of it right then, when I have the opportunity, when it's still fresh in my mind, then later on I'm like, oh, I had a really good idea for a story. What was that? Or I will have forgotten some particular detail or plot twist, because I love to do like little plot twists, as you will find as you get into some of the stories that I've written. But one of the reasons too that I wanted to go back through the articles that I've written on medium.com is because I've written so many stories, and whether they're fiction pieces or memoirs, or things about relatives, or just different pieces that I wanted for my kids and my grandkids to be able to see me writing and reading these stories, um, because it's different when you see it on a piece of paper and you're like, okay, well, I know somebody that wrote this story. Um, but when you're watching them read their own words, then to me, I would have loved. My mother enjoyed writing stories, and I don't know that she ever completed one, but I know that she enjoyed writing, and I wish that she had done something just like this, so that, we'd have something besides pictures. We'd have videos of her obviously enjoying a hobby that she enjoyed doing. And I call writing a hobby for me, although technically, if you've made money off of something, um, you're not really, I mean, you can consider yourself a professional. I haven't made a lot of money, but I have made some money from writing on medium.com. and from writing on Newsbreak as well. But with Newsbreak, it's more news pieces and it's not nearly as much fun. It's not as creative. And so I've really enjoyed the time that I've written on medium.com. I do have a little over 700 articles and stories published there. And so I was hoping gradually to get through those, to be able to read them in my own words so that my kids could have sort of like a video diary or video journal of me reading my own stories in my own words and then talking about those stories. Because how many times have we read stories or novels and we don't know how the writer came to get the idea or what he was thinking when he first came up with the concept, or she, writers of any kind. And so it's always interesting to have the backstory or, just thoughts that the writer has on their own stuff. So today I'm going to be starting with On the Art of Writing. One of the things that I enjoyed doing on Medium is writing about the Medium platform itself. There are always newer writers who, were curious about how the platform works and how they can make money and what they should be doing, if they should be commenting, if they should be reading a lot of other writers' articles. And so this is a piece that I wrote on the topic of writing on Medium itself. And it was called On the Art of Writing. It was published on November 4th, 2021. And my subtitle was Whip Up a Muffin Article. I read an article earlier today that advised writers to have something to say. The author went on to say that people try to treat writing as if it's something they can will themselves into with a few simple steps, like whipping up a batch of muffins. Today, I'm here to demonstrate that if you are willing to sound goofy sometimes and really enjoy the sound of your own voice in typing, that you can literally sit and just string words together. Now, will it be the most intelligent information that you've imparted to others? Will your family and friends forgive the humiliation that comes by dint of association? Perhaps not. My point is, you can quite literally just keep typing and stringing words together to make huge paragraphs of simply nothing. The results will be an article of varying length with just enough syllables to make it look fairly normal if one doesn't look too closely. As an added feature, find some nice photos from Pixabay or go take some photos of your front yard and sprinkle them liberally throughout the article, and voila, you have something to say. You have literally willed yourself, and your article looks absolutely nothing like a batch of muffins unless you have shaped your paragraphs to resemble muffins. Now, a couple of things occur to me as I go back through this article, and it was that the idea for the article itself came from another writer's comments. And so, if you read any of the articles at all, and they do encourage you to read each other's stories on medium.com, you're going to come up with an opinion about just about every article that you read. And in fact, if you go through the comment section, because a lot of people will go in and leave comments, that is just a way of hopefully encouraging others to read their articles as well. But you can go through the comment section and you can pick out several comments and you can start an article just from that alone. Also, another thing that I was remembering as I wrote this article is that I put in a picture of literally of my front yard. It's a tree that we have out to the side that has a lot of irises around it. And I just needed an extra photo to throw into the article. So then, of course, having put that in there, I actually wrote a very small paragraph about it when I wrote, as an added feature, find some nice photos from Pixabay or go take some photos of your front yard and sprinkle them liberally throughout the article, and voila, you have something to say. So each article that I wrote always brought me some measure of enjoyment, unlike writing on Newsbreak, which, like I said, is pretty dry as far as writing is concerned. It's mainly just trying to find news pieces that you can write on. But Medium has always been a really nice creative outlet for me. And so I hope that you've enjoyed this article that I wrote, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.